she's the young woman kidnapped when she was just 11 years old, held captive for 18 years, and she survived unspeakable abuse, gave birth to 2 children in a hidden backyard.
So for all those years, she was called Alyssa.
Let's get one thing straight. My name is Jaycee Lee Dugard.
On June 10th, 1991, as she always did, she walked up the little hill in front of her house in Lake Tahoe, California, to catch the school bus. She was dressed in her favorite outfit, pink tights and a white t-shirt with a pink kitty cat on front. She reaches the road. A gray car pulls up. A stranger rolls down the window.
And his hand shoots out, and I just feel numb.
He had shocked her with a stun gun.
My whole body is tingly. I don't know what it's from.
She falls to the ground unconscious. The man driving is Philip Garrido, a convicted sex offender sentenced to 50 years in prison, but released after just 11. In the car with him is wife Nancy. Prosecutors will say she helped scout the little girl as his prize. It is Nancy who has the 11-year-old child pinned to the backseat floor.
My world changed in an instant. I heard the driver say, "I can't believe we got away with it." And he started laughing.
The Garridos drive their captive 150 miles to a blue house in a neighborhood near San Francisco. An ordinary-looking house, but concealed behind, there is a fence. And behind the fence, a deranged scene. A collection of rundown sheds and storage units hidden in the trees. Garrido strips off her clothes, her little pink tights, and puts a blanket over her head. He takes the naked child into this shed, tiny, completely soundproof. He tells her he's going to put her in handcuffs. He locks her inside, and she has no idea that this prison backyard will be her life for 18 years.
What it was like being in the backyard, it's always there in the back of my mind. Never really goes away.
One of them, tiny, completely soundproof. He leads her inside and takes out handcuffs.
Said that they were the fuzzy kind, so they wouldn't hurt as bad. Whatever.
Behind your back?
Yeah. There was a pallet on the floor, and then he said he'd be back later. And he shut the studio or the soundproof door, and then the other door with the lock.
You heard that
lock? Yeah. I can still hear it consciously, or when I'm awake. Just some sounds and smells, and just don't leave you. He says the door is locked and reminds me of the dogs outside that don't like trespassers, and says, to them, I would be a trespasser.
Naked, handcuffed, weeping alone. The only thing she has left from her safe and happy life is a little ring shaped like a butterfly. She takes it off and manages to hide it from him for 18 years until she's free. Again, she's 11 years old and knows nothing about his plans. She thinks sex is Ken and Barbie dolls sleeping near each other.
It was not a day that I didn't cry. I felt like there would never, ever be a day that I wouldn't cry again.
Okay. This is Philip Garrido. In a video obtained by ABC News from the prosecutors, he is singing one of the songs he wrote. He told everyone he was a musical genius on the verge of a big break. He also calls himself the witness, rambling on about the Bible, saying he was chosen to hear the voices of demon angels in the walls, in the ground, and that he will save the world.
She is coming home. That gives me a lot of hope, a lot of optimism. Somebody's, feeding me dreams for a reason.
Moonlight streaming through the towel. It makes her think of her mother.
We would always sit on the porch and we would debate whether the full moon or the crescent moon was the better moon. I always liked the full moon and she liked the crescent. And just always made me think of her.
Do you remember the song you and your mom sang? Looking at the moon?
You are the moon. How does it go? I forget.
I love the moon and the moon
sees me. I see the moon and the moon sees me. God bless the moon and God bless me.
A husband and wife are under arrest in connection with the 1991 disappearance of Jaycee Dugard. 58-year-old Philip Garrido, a registered sex offender, was booked last night on multiple felony charges, including kidnapping and rape. He and his wife Nancy's home in unincorporated Antioch was being searched this afternoon.
Jaycee Dugard was found alive in Antioch. Excuse me.
Accused kidnappers Philip Garrido and his wife Nancy appear in court for the first time, charged with kidnapping and raping 11-year-old Jaycee Dugard.
Prosecutors say they have overwhelming evidence to convict Philip Garrido of kidnapping and holding Jaycee Dugard captive in deplorable conditions for 18 years.
The neighborhood kids nicknamed him Creepy Phil, now that he and his wife face 29 felony counts for what he allegedly did to Jaycee Dugard over the past 18 years. Philip Garrido, if convicted, will almost certainly die in prison.
I was kidnapped by a stranger at age 11, and I want Philip Garrido to know that I no longer have to keep his secret.
Did you believe that you were protecting other little girls?
I think I did. I think on some level I did, yeah.
He put that stun gun out on a table where she could see it. He got out equipment for drugs, and so began what he would call runs, drug-filled binges for days. In the book, she writes what he forced her to do. This is what she is comfortable telling us.
Well, they were very long. Usually started out with, he would dress me up for hours because he was taking methamphetamines and speed. He called it speed. He would get focused on one thing for long periods of time. And then it usually went to him with his little books of cutouts that he would cut out for hours and paste on little girls from magazines and porno magazines. I mean, it didn't make sense to me at all, but that's what he did.
He would apologize and...
That's the confusing part.
Beg your forgiveness.
Tell me what an awful man he was, and here I am trying to, feeling, hurting, because it hurt, wanting it to stop, and I have to comfort him. The last thing I touched, the last grip on me. Now it's a symbol of hope and new beginnings, and that there is life after something tragic.
Philip Garrido was sentenced to 431 years in prison for kidnapping and sexually assaulting Jaycee Dugard.
You said that you wanted a comedy.
He held her captive for 18 years after taking her near her Northern California home when she was just 11. A new and scathing report by the district attorney's office that prosecuted Garrido says he should have been caught much sooner.
Okay, why is this door locked?
This is video shot by Garrido's also convicted wife Nancy, 2 years after the kidnapping and nearly 16 years before Jaycee Dugard was found. It shows a seemingly indifferent parole officer conducting a half-hearted search of Garrido's property, never finding Dugard, who was hidden in a makeshift structure in the backyard.
This is Jaycee Lee Dugard today. Reemerging out of her privacy with lessons she's learned in the past 5 years.
Thank you.
About transforming suffering into joy every single day. Her 2 girls born in that backyard, now all grown up and thriving.
They're so resilient and they're beautiful and loving. It's taken a lot of time and it hasn't come overnight. You have to put in the hard work and cry and for sure laugh about everything that you can. I see the moon and the moon sees me. God bless the moon and God bless me.